Oh, God. My name's Earl. I'm an alcoholic. Jesus Christ. Okay. I want to thank the committee for asking me to come share here tonight. It's always an honor and a privilege. Particularly, I want to thank Harlan. You all right, Harlan? And I want to thank Zan and Vicky for coming to the airport and picking me up in Portland. It's an interesting ride back. And just everybody who's been real nice to me while I've been here. I've had a great time. Rosa for all the communication over the last couple of years, making sure I end up in the right state. So, let's get this over with. I didn't start drinking when I was 12 years old. I had been restless, irritable, and discontented for some time. Prior to that, it's true, man. I started sleepwalking and talking in my sleep when I was a little kid, about 4 or 5 years old. I'd get up and walk through the house and turn on the lights as I'd go through the house and stand at the foot of my parents' bed and talk to them for a while, scare the hell out of my parents. Turn around and walk back through the house, turn the lights off, so I'd go back to the house and get back in bed. This sent me immediately into therapy. They ran a few tests on me, and the answer they came up with was every night before I'd go to bed, they'd give me a tablespoon of this liquid, right, which would knock me out. No more problem, right? I think I subconsciously filed that away as with the information was, if you don't like the way things are going, take something. And went into my childhood and don't remember much else about them. You know, I was 12 years old. I got, they did a bunch of tests, some more tests on me, and they determined that I had a very high IQ. I don't have it anymore, so I'm not bragging. That's long gone. But so they decided that I should be shipped off to this think tank boarding school, right? And so just nobody told me what was going on. They just one day my father said, "Get in the car." You know, so he got in the car and drove forever, I remember. And we ended up in this place, and I got out of the car, and he got out of the car, and nobody else got out of the car. And he put a suitcase down next to me and shook my hand and said, "This will make a man out of you," and then got back in the car, and they all drove off. Now the fact is that I was being given an opportunity for a wonderful education, which has held me in good stead to this very day. The feeling was that I just got thrown away by the people who knew me better than anybody in the world, and I had no idea why. So I was launched out into the universe at age 12, and I had no tools for living. I mean, you know, I was 5 feet tall, 100 pounds, clueless. I didn't know what was going on. I mean, everybody had been telling me what to do every step of the way, you know, up to that point, and here I was in this school. It turns out that there were 250 boys from all over the world in this school. They had scoured the earth to find 250 of the brightest, most disturbed young men they could find. And they threw us all on this campus, and everybody was 13. There were 249 guys that were aged 13 to 18, and there was me. I was the 12-year-old. I was the smallest and the youngest kid in the whole school, and I knew right off I knew instantly, I'm the odd man out. This is a big mistake. I'm not supposed to be here. I lose. And I knew it right away, and I hated this place. And for 72 hours, I called my mother every chance I got to say, "This is a big mistake, you got to get me out of here." And she'd just say, "Sorry, I can't do that." And after that was as long as I could stay in that kind of pain, and it was like something broke inside me, and I just said, "You know what, you don't want me, I don't want you," and I turned my back on him. About the 4th or 5th day in this school, every high school's got a guy named Tiny, right? He's like 6'4", 245. Right, biggest guy in the school, and I was walking along with my books, trying not to make eye contact with anybody, and Tiny found me. And he said, "How you doing, punk?" And he slapped me in the back of the head and sent me and my books flying, right? Well, I had I had never met a guy like this before, and I didn't know what to do, and I had this kind of like out-of-body experience, where you're watching yourself do something, and in your head, your head's telling you, this is a very bad idea. You know, and I walked up and I hit Tiny as hard as I could. And then just stood there in front of this giant person, and I didn't know what, we're already past anything I know, you know what I mean? You take it from here. And he did. And he said, you got a lot of guts, kid. And then he beat the crap out of me right on the spot. And as I'm taking the beating, I'm thinking, this is going pretty well. because the fact of the matter is I was absolutely terrified of this guy, but he had just said, you got a lot of guts. So apparently my violence masked the fear. And that was my first tool for living. When in doubt, attack. And, not because I'm a tough guy or a bad guy, but just because I was a self-centered, frightened human being from as early as I can remember. And that was how I dealt with my fear, was to attack people. So I went back to my dorm room, sat around waiting for the bleeding to stop. And word spread across this campus like wildfire. Within 30 minutes, every guy there was like, watch out for this little Hightower kid. He's a maniac. He attacked Tiny, right? So now I got this reputation. And as far as I can see, the hole is just getting deeper. You know what I mean? It has absolutely nothing to do with who I am. I'm a frightened child, But now I have a reputation as a maniac. So, and we got to live up to that. So the cool guys started coming around, right? And Matt swung by, and Matt said, hey, Matt was 13. He says, you want to smoke a joint? And I said, well, yeah, I do. And I had no idea what he was talking about. I had no idea what that meant. What I heard was, you want to hook up? The answer was, yeah, man, I want to hook up. I'm alone in the world. I got large people beating the hell out of me, I need some friends. And he said, well, come on, man. So we swing by and we pick up Steve. And Steve had a Tupperware container full of cheap red wine. I mean, no grapes involved. You know what I mean? That fortified stuff, the good stuff, when you're there to get something done, And we went behind the dorm, and we're standing by this big tree. And Matt fired up the joint, took a hit, and handed it to me. And I just did what he did and handed it to Steve. And there came the wine, and I took a pull on the wine. And we're standing there going around in a circle like this. And I have no idea why we're doing this. I'm just glad not to be standing there by myself, And I'm watching this happen, and I don't get it. And I mean, all of a sudden, it happened. That thing that makes me bodily different from my fellows occurred. And that warm, easy feeling kind of just wafted up over me. And it was like, hey, this is good. This is very, very good. Because I'm comfortable standing where I'm standing, doing what I'm doing with the people I'm doing it with for the first time in my life. And I've never felt better. It's like a spiritual experience for me, just to be comfortable standing there. And I don't know if it's the pot, the wine, if it's the fact that I'm now hanging with my two very close personal friends, Steve and Matt. These are my bros, I feel very tight here. I don't know what it is. But what I'm noticing right away is that nobody's dying. Nobody's going to jail. There's no blood drawn. Nobody goes to the nut house. There was no downside whatsoever. We hung. It was very mellow. Went back to my room. Was no longer concerned about the beating I had taken a couple hours before. Went to sleep, got up, went to class. Woke up, first thought, wonder where Matt and Steve are. I got to do that again. I like that. And I made a commitment right there. I need to do this as often as possible. And I did for the next 16 years, no matter what. I was given many good reasons to stop along the way, and I never even slowed down. It just didn't matter. It didn't matter, because this was the greatest thing I'd ever found in my life. It made it possible for me to get up and go out into the world and talk to other people, something that I was terrified to do. 13 was pills, and the only reason I took pills was because somebody said, would you like a couple of these? And I said, well, yeah, I would. So I took a couple of these pills, and I didn't know what they were, 20 minutes later, I'm laying on the floor, and I'm very happy down there. Everything's cool, man. I'm on the floor. Good. Can't fall down, no problems, everything's good. Just laying on the floor. And the guy came by and said, can I get you anything? And I just said, well, what do you call those? He said, Tuinol. Tuinol. All right, write that down. Tuinol, second all, Placidil, I got strung out on all that stuff. 14 was psychedelics. Because I was hanging out with this girl, Debbie. I had a 10-hour pass from boarding school, and I was hanging with Debbie, man. Debbie was an older woman. Debbie was 15 and a half, man. Debbie was a bad girl, and I had such respect for Debbie, man. I still do. And she said, you want to drive some acid? And I said, well, yeah. I had learned, you say, people ask you stuff like this, say, yeah, something good's about to happen. So she pulled out this lipstick tube and spun it open, and on the tip of it is this little tiny pill. So I just took it off, threw it in my mouth, swallowed it, and she said, did you take that whole thing? I said, well, yeah, it was it's a very tiny pill. And she said, well, that's 3 hits of white lightning. Oh, we have a little identification in the room, I say. Yeah, everybody goes, yeah. Next 2 days are very interesting, man. I don't remember much of it. I do remember, however, I was in a supermarket somewhere, Bob's got his supermarket stories, I got mine. And I was in the supermarket with him, we had a cart, and we were walking down one of the aisles, and I remember thinking everything looked really put together, You know what I mean? And I'm down the aisle, and we were pretending we were married. And I looked over and I said, do we have any children? And she said, yes, we have 2. And I said, well, then we're going to need these diapers right here. And I blacked out again. That was the last thing I remember doing there. But to this day, going into a supermarket takes a real commitment on my part. I still find them kind of spooky. There's too many decisions, man. I mean, you got to make a lot of decisions. If you don't have a list, it gets rough in there. I want, everyone, you want corn, cream corn, canned corn, there's the Mexicorn thing, and somewhere over there's the, corn on the cob. It's like, I'm already done. It's like, I'll come back. It's too many decisions, you see the abandoned shopping carts in markets, I identify with that guy. I know that guy. It's like, I'll do this later. I don't know if that's ever going to change. Anyway, so 15, I started shooting dope. And the only reason I did that was this other girl said, you want me to stick this in your body? And I said, well, yeah. And she did, and I did one of those, just right over, And all I remember thinking on the way down was, oh, yeah. That'll work. I got to remember this. Okay, now, I've been talking about drugs. I identify as an alcoholic. Drugs led me to alcohol, and alcohol led me here. It's just part of my story, is the drugs, you know what I mean? While I was doing all this stuff, I was drinking every single day. Always drinking. My drug of choice was, what do you got? You know what I mean? I was not a specialist, you know what I mean? I didn't do, now if you did one thing right into the dirt and crawled in here, God bless you, have a seat, you know what I mean? That's not my story. It's all anti-Earl medication to me, and that's all I'm after. It's all the fear killer. I get enough of what you got in my body, I can kill the fear. And that's all that's important to me. The only thing that I did every day was alcohol. I mean, I'd be, shooting heroin one day, snorting cocaine the next, eating psilocybin, or, carrying on doing the Carlos Castaneda thing out in the desert, you know what I mean? Or just doing whatever I was doing, you know what I mean? I was not committed in any one direction. Now, again, like Bob, if I get to choose, I want down and out. I want heart and lungs working. Nothing else going on. That's the place I like. It's cool, it's quiet, it's dark. I like it down there. Booze will do that for me. Opiates will do that for me. That's the place I like to go. Barbiturates, give me those. Let's go, right? But if I go to Connect to buy, some heroin, and he goes, we're out. I'll say, I'll take the cocaine. I was planning on going down, can't go down. Let's go this way. Let's go up. Because I got a job to do here, man. And my job is I got to get out of right here, right now. I got to because this is where I'm feeling stuff, and this is where I got to be like a person, and I got to deal with other people. I can't, and I'm not good at any of this. I'm just not good at it. I got to get out of here. And when I drank, I got drunk. I don't know I can't even comment on social drinking. I don't know anything about it. I've never done it. I've seen it. I find it bizarre. Because they're clearly doing something. If they, that part in chapter 3 where they say, science may one day accomplish this, but it hasn't done so yet, they might come up with a pill where people like me can drink like a normal man. You can keep it. I have no interest in drinking like a normal man. I've seen how they drink. I have no interest in that whatsoever. Because it doesn't do what I'm there to get done. There's no point in a couple of drinks. The only reason I have a couple of drinks is you have a couple of drinks while you're waiting for him to bring you another couple of drinks. It's a couple of drinks. Yeah. Yet I have a mind that told me for years, let's go have a couple of drinks. We need to unwind. And I'd sit there like an idiot going, yeah, I could a couple of drinks. Never had a couple of drinks in my life. So anyway, I was drinking through all of it. Now, all the day. Booze was the only thing that was on the table every day. And the reason for that, in my opinion, is because drugs are unreliable. And booze is very reliable. You can count on booze. Out there on the street, there's no quality control going on out there in the drug world. You go connect, you go get whatever it is you got. When was the last time you went to go buy some cocaine and the dealer said, it's really not that good today. Come back Thursday, we'll have something a little better for you. Doesn't happen. Oh, yeah, it's great, it's the best. Probably going to have to step on this one more time, man. It's great. Sure. You're shooting salt. And you never know what you got. You never know what you get out there. You know what I mean? You don't know, do so much cocaine you can't get your mouth open anymore. You just, good. You know what I mean? Always overshooting the mark. You know what I mean? You got a bottle of Jack Daniels, you got yourself a quart of gin, no problem. You suck a little gin through your teeth, get you right back in the comfort zone. Ask a little too spooky tonight, don't worry about it. Jack will ease it back for you. Greg, start sucking on the bottle, man. Not enough heroin to get you to that cool, quiet, heart and lungs working place. Booze will get you the rest of the way. It will take care of the job. You can count on booze. And I did from age 12. That's what I counted on. In my generation, our parents were the drunks. You know what I mean? We were the drug addicts. We weren't going to drink ourselves to death. We were going to kill ourselves in a whole new way. You know what I mean? That was carving out our own identity. You know what I mean? But the fact of the matter is, when you be an alcoholic, truly, you go with what works. You go with what works. You know what I mean? They can be as, hip as they want to be, man. I got to get the job done. And the job meant alcohol for me. Always with the booze. So 16, I dropped out of high school. I got committed to my first mental institution. 3 months of observation, a year of rehabilitation, and shuffling around in there taking 3 cups of pills a day. No shoelaces, no belt. Somebody else lights your cigarette for you. You know what I mean? Shaving in that reflective stuff, with a guy standing right there, because they didn't have mirrors. Nice place. Aspiring to be a mental patient, And they had the exit signs like they have here, the green lit ones that are lit up by the doors. And I remember sitting in the cafeteria, I used to have all my meals with this woman named Kilday. Kilday was really nuts. And Kilday, but she was fun, because all you had to do was look at her and say, "How you doing?" And Kilday just spin like a top, man. And just go crazy. And it was fun. You know what I mean? Every meal was like dinner and a show. You know what I mean? You have your dinner and you watch Kilday flip out. So I decided I was going to escape, and I got I used Kilday as my diversion. Because the green exit signs, you know what I mean? I was so focused on those. It just said exit. And that's all I wanted to do. That was it for me. I wanted to get out. So I made my break. But, I'm taking these 3 cups of pills a day. I get Kilday spinning off that way, and it's like, ready, go! And I'm hauling ass, you know what I mean? That's all I got. And your brain's working fine, and you're looking down going, oh, Jesus, get going, man. It's not working. You hear over the loudspeaker from the nurse's station, Lou, when you got a minute, you want to grab Earl? He's making a break for the door. Lou's in there eating a sandwich going, yeah, I'll get him in a minute. I'm working for the door. So, at this point, I'm like 16 years old. My tools for living are drugs, alcohol, violence, and run. And now I got to add another one. If you're going to live my life, you're going to get thrown in the nut house. You got to get out before they get the Thorazine in you. Because if you don't, you're leaving when they say. So the next time I got thrown in the nut house, I escaped the first day. I was sitting in the interview process, you know what I mean, with my mother sitting there wringing her hands, you know, and this intake person taking on, I'm saying, oh, yeah, man, it's really bad out there. I'm really glad you got your hands on me. It's really rough. I was really having a hard, hey, look at that. You know? And there's no pills in me now, man, and I hauled ass out of this place. It was a place called, remember, Bob knows the place, man. It's called the Westwood. It was before they built the hospital there. It was on the corner of Barrington and Olympic in Los Angeles, man. I blasted out of this place, and whistles are going off, and I bust out in this backyard, and I got this guy, this intern, right on my tail, man. And we're heading across this lawn, and I see this 12-foot chain link fence without ivy on it. And I'm thinking, I'm over that fence, I'm free. Now, as I'm running, I mean, at this point in my life, I'm 16 years old. I'm a high school dropout, right? I'm a drug addict. I'm an alcoholic. I'm at any moment, hopefully, an escaped mental patient. This is like my resume. This is what I have to say for myself. And I'm thinking, if I make that fence, I don't have any problems. I don't have any problems if I make that fence, because I'll be loaded in 20 minutes, man. This is LA. It's my town. And that's all my life is about. Because who I am is I drink and use no matter what. Which is why I don't care for the statement around AA where they tell newcomers, just don't drink no matter what. I'm telling you, man. That misses the point for me. I mean, if I could just not drink no matter what, I guarantee you'd have a different speaker tonight. There's no way I'm getting on a plane. Fly up to Oregon, drive 2 hours, right? Hang out in a hotel, get up in front of God knows how many of you are out there, scare the hell out of myself, tell you the truth about who I am. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you go to a meeting of Alcoholics Anonymous? Why would you go anywhere near the steps? Why would, the fourth step? Are you out of your mind? Why would I need to swallow large chunks of truth about myself? I'm not drinking no matter what. I'm at home not drinking no matter what. I could do that. If I could do that, that's what I do. The point is, I can't do that. I'm the exact opposite of that. I drink and use no matter what. Given lots of good reasons, I don't stop. I was 16 years old. I had a lot of very good reasons. Let's review for you, Earl. You're a high school dropout. You're alienated from your family. You've just escaped from a mental hospital. How's it going so far? And my answer was, I made it over the fence, so it's going fine. Because I'm high now. You know? So I spent 3 years out on the street doing what you do to stay loaded on a daily basis. Met this woman at a party. We talked for 20 minutes. It went pretty well. We were in love. So Rosemary and I decided that we had to pull it together here. I'm really watching my language. I'm doing very well too, I think. Don't you think? And of course, right now is when I'm just so tempted to. I set myself up. So we decided, so I went on this interview. They had a guy in town in LA who was interviewing for a good business college in Northern California. And I decided I would go interview for this college. I'm a high school dropout, right? But that's details, you know what I mean? So I go on an interview, and the guy's a musician, so I'm a musician. You know, his favorite color is blue. That's amazing. Mine too, you know. I just lined right up with this guy, and an hour and a half later he said, you know, you'll be a wonderful addition to our campus in the fall. I said, great. See you there, you know. Left. Thinking, now what do I do? Went back and saw my father and said, look, I got accepted to college. Don't ask. Give me a year's tuition. I'm leaving town. He said, fine. Yeah? Jack, leave. So me and Rosemary piled all our belongings in the back of this truck along with 8 pounds of hash and drove to Northern California to higher learning. And I went to school. I went to an adult night school and got my gave him a year's tuition up front. Told him transcripts are in the mail. Went down to the local high school, did the GED to get my high school equivalency done, right? Was going to college during the day, became a drug dealer. You know, was studying marketing, production, distribution, applying it to my business. You know, business was booming. You know, and I didn't have any problem with any of this. I mean, I had no morals. I had no ethics. You know, there was no right or wrong stuff going on in my life. I had no principles of any kind. I didn't know what it meant. I had no idea what it meant to be a part of a family. I've been gone since I was 12. I didn't know what it meant to be a part of a community. I had no sense of that at all. It was me, and it was up to me to take care of me, and this was the way I was going to do it. It was a brave new world, and I was going to be a part of it, and this was my thing. We were going to rage against the machine and party till we dropped, you know. So, fast forward, I'm 21 years old. Rosemary's long gone. Rosemary's saying things like, I'm too high. Gotta go. Rosemary's gone. I'm living the life of a drug dealer. I got a high school diploma. I'm a junior in college. I'm editor-in-chief of my college newspaper. I got an early acceptance to go to USC Law School. My business is booming. You know, I mean, it's working. It looks like everything's working. But I'm really starting to struggle inside because I'm using like a madman on a daily basis. I'm starting to overdose every now and then. You know, people are starting to drop around me. You know, it's getting a little severe. I'm only 21. And, I got diagnosed to have, I went for a physical. I don't know why. I went for a physical, you know. Bad idea, because I got diagnosed to have malignant cancer when I went in for the deal. And, I had to fly back to LA and they did major surgery on my back and they told me I was gonna die and they told my family I was gonna die. I remember thinking, you don't even know who you're talking to. You know, people have been saying that to me for like 2 years now. You know, you don't knock this off, you're going to die. And I just never identified with the idea that I was going to die at that point. I mean, I already knew at that point in my life that I probably wasn't going to live that long, but I was all right with that, you know what I mean? But I didn't think, the way I was living was going to kill me way before this did. So they did the major surgery, they did the nuclear medicine thing, you know what I mean? They had me, shooting me full of all kinds of stuff, and I hated their drugs, so I quit. Right in the middle of it, said, I don't like this, and I left. And I went home and got high the way I get high, and beat the cancer thing. And basically, I'm convinced that at the way I was using in those days, my body was so toxic, cancer could not live in my body. It's like the host was more toxic than the disease. So I beat the cancer thing, and went back up north, and was going to school. My mother called me right before I was 22, and she called me up and said, look, we haven't been anywhere as a family in 10 years. We'll go anywhere you want to go. Let's just go somewhere for your birthday. And I said, fine. So I blew back into LA, and my birthday is November 7th, right? So I blew in the morning, 6 a.m., November 7th. One of those mornings where I'd been up, I couldn't get my mouth open. You know what I mean? I was locked down, I shut up, hi, Mom! And she said, that's cute, get in the car. And we took off to fly to Guadalajara, and on the way there the plane crashed, and my mother, my father, and my little sister were all killed, and I wasn't. And I woke up on this mountain in Mexico, and my skull was fractured, my back was broken in 3 places, my leg was crushed, my arm was crushed, a bunch of metal through my arm, had a lot of internal injuries. I was paralyzed from the waist down, and I was awake. And my mother was laying right over there, and my little sister Kimberly was laying right over there, and my father was laying right over there, and I couldn't get to him. The only thing I could move was my right arm. And I couldn't get to him, and I couldn't help him, and I watched them all bleed to death right in front of me. And I had a little chat with God, and I said, you know what? I renounce you. I have no interest in a God that would take a kind, gentle, poetic, loving little girl like my little sister Kimberly, who was mine. When she wanted to know about boys, she came to me. I was her big brother. I raised her. When she wanted to know about boys, she came to me. When she had problems with her friends, she came to me. When she had problems with school, she came to me. When I went away to college and she graduated from high school, she came up to the same school so that we could be together. We were real close. She was 15 months younger than me. So you take her and you leave a lying, cheating, thieving, dope fiend, alcoholic like me on the planet, I got no use for a God like this. And I renounced God. And then some guys came up to the crash site, and they scavenged the wreck, took the money out of my wallet, and threw my wallet back out on my chest, and went back down the mountain and left me up there to die. So I had no more use for you either. I was out of the game. No more need for the pretense. No more need to say, hey, I'm going to law school, or hey, I'm doing this, or hey, I got this going on, or hey, I got that going on, so that you leave me alone and let me drink and use the way I want to drink and use. I don't need it anymore. I'm just going to drink and use the way I want to. You don't like it, you can get out of the way. You know what? You got sex, drugs, alcohol, money, or any information on how I can get any or all of the above, we'll talk. You don't? Next. I got no use for you whatsoever. I don't want to be your friend. I don't want to get to know you. I don't want to be a part of your life, and I don't want you to be a part of mine. What I do is I drink and I use. That's what I do. And that's all I want to do. I'm never going to have the TV life. It's never going to be Earl and the wife and the kids and the picket fence and the little house and the dog and the 2-week vacation and the 9-to-5 job and the retirement plan. That's never going to happen. My life's never been anywhere near what TV told me it was going to be. I am not Leave It to Beaver. Never have been, never will be. I'm just going to do my thing. This is my life, this is my road, this is my path, and I'm going to live it. And I came up that mountain. They finally, some other guys came up and they took me down off the mountain. They drove us to an aid station and they tagged my right big toe. Tagged me dead. And sat there smoking cigarettes waiting for me to die. And I didn't die. And they finally took me to a hospital in Los Mochis, Mexico. And while I was in the federales, they found out who I was from my ID. And the federales came, and I had a whole bunch of them in my room. And I got interrogated through an interpreter for 3.5 days. And they wouldn't give me anything for paying nothing. It was all due to another little matter in Mexico earlier. That's another story. But they wanted to know what I was doing back in Mexico, and we had a real problem on our hands. So I called a buddy of mine up, and, you know, we're little networkers, we are. And I called a buddy of mine up in Northern California whose family was out of Mexico City, and they flew the company plane in as close as they could get it. Came in, we bribed a few guys. They plastered me from the neck down and threw me in a plane, and I basically smuggled myself out of Mexico. Ended up in a hospital in Santa Monica, California. Spent a long time there. They told me I'd be blind in my left eye, I'd have a withered left hand, and I may or may not walk again. Again, I remember thinking, you don't know who you're talking to. And quite a while later, I came out of there on a brace, cast still on my leg, a cane, and I got out of there just grilled on Demerol, strung out. Because we know how to work that story, you know, and I had a butte. So when I said I'm in pain, man, I was getting maximum doses of Demerol every 3 hours around the clock for a long time. I discharged out of that hospital. I was out of that hospital 3 hours and 20 minutes, man, and I was in trouble because I needed a shot. And I hooked up and I went on my last run, and it lasted for 4.5 years. And I used like a madman for 4.5 years. I got a lot of money from the airplane crash, the plane insurance, and I had a house in Bel Air, and I had a bunch of cars, and I had all the stuff. But in the middle of that stuff was me, and I was just a wounded animal. I had no tools for living at work, no idea how to be a part of, no idea how to be in the world, no idea how to connect with other human beings, and I'd been so beat up and knocked around up to this point in my life, I had no desire to try. So I just used. And I used for 4.5 years. I was sober on 3 separate occasions during that 4.5 years. There were 72 hours each, and that was because I was strapped to a table. I would go into this little bootleg sanitarium in Hollywood, and I'd pay them $150 cash up front. And you give them your car keys and your wallet and $150 cash, and you put your bottle of Valium or whatever you had and your gun or whatever. You put everything up on the table, go in, they strap you down on a table, shoot you full of anticonvulsants, and 72 hours later they just send you home or to the morgue, and they didn't really give a shit which way you went. And I'd come up off that, I'd reintroduce myself to God every time. It's like, you know, hello, hi, you know, I'm hallucinating like a dog, I'm kicking like a beast, you know, you get me out of this sane and alive and I'll never drink again as long as I live. My ass is kicked. I'm done. And I'd get up off that thing, just beat like a beat dog, man. And I'd crawl back out there. They'd give me all my stuff back, and they'd say, now, Earl, you be a good boy and you don't drink no more. And I'd say, no, ma'am, not me. I can't live like this anymore. I don't know how else I'm going to live, but I know I can't do this. And I'd go out and get in my car, and I'd pop 40, 50 milligrams of Valium, because I'm shaking, and you shouldn't shake like that when you're driving. You know, and I'd come to in Oakland. You know, in somebody else's car with 4 other people in the car that I'd never seen before in my life. You know, that'd be a Monday, and I'd come to Thursday in Oakland driving down the freeway with 4 people I don't know. Have no idea how that happened. Didn't know how that happened. I wasn't going to drink. Did that 3 more times. Finally, the bottom for me was, I was living with this woman in Venice, California. She was keeping me is what was happening. Both her parents had convulsed to death from alcoholism, so I was perfect for her. So she liked having me around because all the alcoholic insanity was still in her home, and it made her feel, you know, secure. And I came out of that last blackout, and I had hair out like this, I had a beard like this, I weighed 215 pounds. I was yellow. I had had 2 doctors independent of one another tell me if you don't stop drinking, you're going to die this year. Your thyroid's no longer functioning. Your liver's a mess. Your kidneys are just ready to shut down. Your heart's, you're a mess. You've taken too many direct hits, man. I mean, I came out, both my hands were broken. They were deciding whether to press charges for attempted murder. I had apparently attacked the apartment manager for some reason. We were being evicted, and I came out of the blackout, and it was another 4-dayer. I get 4-day blackouts, where I can't remember anything for 4 days. And I was done. That's all I can tell you. It was a God shot. I was done. My ass was kicked. And then when I got sober, I told you I was 215, I was yellow, I was psychotic, my family was dead, I had no friends, I now had no place to live. I'd broken 74 bones, I had over 600 stitches in me, I'd been stabbed twice, shot at, the violence had been insane in my life. And I had nowhere to go, no money. I burned my life to the ground. There was nothing left. And I threw up these busted paws and I said, help. Help. And they threw me in an ambulance and they took me and pumped my stomach one more time. They'd done that so many times I could talk to them while they did it. They'd run the tubes and they'd say, how you doing, Earl? And I'd say, oh, it was a bad day. Right? Real claim to fame. And they said, get him out, he was going to die. And they took me to another hospital and they kept me for 5 more days and I got worse. And they took me down to a place in Long Beach, California under the care of a lady by the name of Dr. Vicky Fox. And I kicked for 12 more days there, and then they did 30 days on a free bed. They kind of took a liking to me because they said they liked me because I was destroyed. I mean, I had, there was no wise ass remarks out of me. There were no bringing up any of the old tools for living. There was no yeah, but. There was none of that left. They said, go right. I just said, okay. So I went right. I remember sitting in that detox and Dr. Fox came walking in, and I'm just sitting in the chair trying not to throw another seizure, you know what I mean? And me and 41 other guys in one room, right, with cots, like that. And somebody's flipping out, you get an hour of sleep a night, somebody's flipping, 24 hours a day with that many guys in one room. And she came walking in and she had that presence about her, man. She had big beehive of hair and a pencil stuck in it, and she had glasses on a chain, and she always wore a sweater, and she always had files under her arm, and a cigarette sticking out of the corner of her mouth that she never took out of her mouth. She'd light it and just smoke it right there. And she came walking in the detox, and she just, if she walked in here, I'd go, oh! She's had a power and a presence about her, you know what I mean? She walked in, and everybody just kind of looked up at her, and she looked over at me, and I froze, man, like a deer in the headlights. And she just walked right up to me and she put her hand on my cheek and she looked over down at me and she said, with the cigarette and everything, and she leaned over and she patted me on the cheek and she said, baby, you really do need to be here. And turned around and walked away and I just went, yeah. That was my first direction. Stay. I got it, huh? I got out of there and they said, you don't want to die, you better stop drinking. If you want to stop drinking, you better go to AA. I said, got it. A little while later, I ended up in the basement of a church on a Friday night in West Los Angeles, 8:30 p.m., Alcoholics Anonymous meeting. Sat in the back with my arms folded, my best tough guy look on my face, scared to death. Because I had no idea how to be in the world. And I had no place else left to go. Man, if I had anywhere else to go, I'd have gone. Because you know what? I didn't want what you had. How was I supposed to know what you had? I didn't know anything about what you said. If you want what we got. Well, I don't know what you got. I don't know what you got. They say you people did like me. Well, I didn't see any out there in my trials and tribulations. You all look pretty well put together to me. I don't know about this. But I just sat in the back because I had no place else to go. This guy got up and he shared his experience, strength, and hope. I never heard anything like it in my life. This guy talking honestly and openly about his feelings as a man, about how he could have a head chewing on him and still walk through a day with some grace and some dignity and meet his responsibilities, put in an honest day's work, get something to eat, go to an Alcoholics Anonymous meeting, not to go to a meeting to see what's this meeting got for me, what are you going to give me tonight, but because he'd been through the 12 steps of Alcoholics Anonymous as outlined in the big book and had a spiritual awakening as a result of doing that, he was going to a meeting to see what he could bring to that meeting. He was there for the newcomer. Because, that is the whole point of having a meeting, right? It's so that there's a place where a newcomer can come and hear a message of hope. That's the whole point of meeting, right? Program's in the book. You know, meetings, place for the newcomer to come. See that, can't all these people be lying? You know? So I sat in the back and I was blown away by this guy. And it was like he looked right at me and he said, you know what? I don't care whether you like what I got to say or not. You don't like it, go to another meeting. I loved that. You know, because it was like the guy's not selling me something, he's sharing it with me. And if I want it, I can have it. It's mine for free. Don't want it? Cool, go to another meeting. Hopefully you hear somebody you can identify with. And I had another God shot my first meeting. I said, this is cool, I'm coming back. And I left there with something I had not had for years. I left there with hope. Hope. That little pilot light that was still flickering inside me, maybe these people can show me what I got to do to just be sane and alive on the planet. Forget about the dreams and the hopes and the aspirations, man. I just want to be able to be here. Just let me be here. So I went back the next Friday night to that meeting to hear that guy talk. And a lady got up. And I said, where's the guy? She said, what are you talking about? I said, the guy who talks here. She goes, what do you mean the guy who talks here? I said, the guy that speaks at this deal. Because he was the guy I was here last week and the guy talked and I came back to hear him. She goes, no, man. We have different speakers and we have different kind of... I didn't know what you did. I thought that was that guy's meeting and you went there and you listened to that guy. And the lady got up and I thought, great, a lady. You know what I mean? It's the woman, what she know? But you don't know about me. She don't know like... And I was great at noticing the differences. I mean, if you were a woman, you don't know about me. You 5 years younger, 5 years older, you came up in something else. You don't know about me. You black, Hispanic, gay, Asian. You don't know about me. Right? Right? It's not a better or a worse thing. It's just you come up in something else. You don't know about me. By the time I got to AA, man, it was if you're not Earl, you don't know about me. I could back anybody off. You know what I mean? And this woman gets up and starts talking about my feelings. How scary was that? You know? I thought, oh no. And I sat, and she carried a message of hope to me. You know? And I thought, I'm coming back. And I started coming. Next thing you know, I'm going to 7 or 9 meetings a week. I got a sponsor. I got a vicious sponsor. I've met this guy, and I never heard anything like it in my life. And I knew this guy was crazy. He'd been committed 23 times to mental institutions. He had actually the only guy I ever met who was evicted from the nut house. They told him, you got to go now or you're never going to leave. Get out. And he's the late, great Donald Madden. And Donald Madden saved my life. Because I did not trust another human being on the face of the earth. No one. No one. I came here to hear what you had, and I came here to take from you. Because that's what I knew how to do. And that's what, in my opinion, what any self-respecting newcomer will do, is come here and take. That's your job. Take. Get, grab, steal it, gather it up, bother people, man. Just take, right? Just take it. And hopefully some of what they'll give you is be outlined in this book right here. The first 164 pages tell you how to do the 12 steps. If you take that, you're smoking now. You are in the game, right? Well, I mean, the fact of the matter is you know, as better off as a lot of us might be now than we were when we got in here. We're still human, we're still fallible, and we will screw up. We will screw up. Count on it. It'll happen. This stuff in this book, never, ever let you down. Always right there, always right in the same order. You will never go to a meeting and go and see that step 11 is now step 2. They're always in the same order, in that order for a reason, outlined in the book exactly like that, and written for us, for alcoholics. That's who they're for. Right? Now, the metaphysical principles that those 12 steps are based on, they're thousands of years old, man. They have withstood the test of time. Right? Our founders put them together in a 12-step format, right, that allows us as alcoholics to access that information. And that's what it is. And it works. It works. That's why I tell people, say, screw AA, I went to a few meetings. I say, hey, you know what, man? You can say whatever you want about alcoholics to me. Alcoholics Anonymous, you can say whatever you want about it. But at the bottom of that list, you got to say, and it works. It works. Whether I work it or not, that's another story, right? But it's on me. I mean, the teachers can open the door for me, but I'm the guy that's got to walk into the next room. I'm the one that's got to walk into that room. And the only way I can do that successfully that I've ever seen, and frankly, as far as history is concerned, the best chance, shot, roll of the dice that any alcoholic has ever had is going this way. This is the most successful thing it's ever been for us. So I had this sponsor, Donald Madden, and Donald Madden I said, will you sponsor me? He said, what? He was not a low-key guy. I said, will you sponsor me? And he said, yes. And you don't have to like what I tell you, and you don't have to think it's a good idea. You just have to do it, baby. Just like that. And I said, no problem. No problem. I saw lots of room to move in that, right? So he takes me to a Friday night meeting, and he says, they make 550 cups of coffee here every Friday night. You're making them for the next year. And I said, fuck you. Oops. I apologize. Yeah. So, we'll just move right on. So, he said, fine, then drink. I said, there's no talking to you people. I'm trying to have a conversation here. I mean, I'm ready to kill myself and several other people at any moment. I'm having very bad days in a row here. I'm not doing well. I'm not happy. I'm getting about an hour's sleep a night. I'm very pissed off. I go from victim to assassin and back, man. I'm not hitting anything in the middle. Just victim, assassin. Victim, assassin. I'm hanging on by a thread here, and you say to me, make a little coffee. I don't think you understand the nature of my problem here. I don't think you understand how serious this is. He said, then drink. I said, fine, I'll make the coffee. So I made 500, it's a 4.5-hour commitment on Friday nights, and I'm grumbling and moaning through it. You know what? I feel better every Friday night. I have no idea why. If you're new and you're thinking, I'm the new guy, that's why I got the grunt job. I got to make the coffee, I got to clean up the meeting. They're making me pick up the cigarette butts outside, and I don't even smoke, You got that's in your head. Consider this. Actually, we're giving you one of the best gifts you can get in the fellowship of Alcoholics Anonymous. We're giving you an opportunity to, check this out, get out of yourself. Be of service. A profound spiritual principle. To be able to get out of yourself and be of service to other people so that when you come back to you, there's more God and less of you in the way. That's the whole point of doing that, right? Now, it took me 6 months of making coffee. I don't know how many thousands of cups that is, but it took me 6 months of making coffee to actually put the two events together. I thought it was just Friday night, and you always feel a little better on Friday night, you know what I mean? And that wasn't what was happening at all. I was out of Earl for the first time in my life. He could have explained this to me, and it would have gone right over my head. I wasn't going to understand metaphysical, spiritual principles, universal laws, stuff like this. He just said, do it or drink. I got that. He was one of those guys that said, sit down, shut up, and listen. Thank God I got a guy like that who didn't love me back to drinking. You know what I mean? He loved me into the program. He loved me enough to tell me the truth. He loved me enough to understand that he had been in my seat. He had sat there thinking just like I was thinking. And now, years later, he was sitting in the seat that he was now sitting in and had all the experience that comes between that seat and this one. I was sitting in that seat and had no other experience. Whose best thinking should we be using? His. Right? But you can't tell me that. But he'd say, go pick up Ed on the corner of 6th and Santa Monica and bring him to Ohio Street. I'd say, fine. I go, there's Ed standing. I got like 2 years at this point, right? And I'm still a mess, right? I'm still not talking to anybody but him. He's the guy I talk to, and I do what he says. 7-9 meetings a week. I got commitments that don't require me to talk to anybody. And I go and I work and I go home and I try to get some sleep and I go back to meetings. And I just go to meetings and I call my sponsor every day. What do you want me to do? Go get Ed, pick him up, bring him to the meeting. Fine. So I go pick up Ed. Ed's got 6 days. Ed gets in the car. Hi, Earl, how you doing? I'm Ed. I got 6 days. I got my job back, man. Me and the wife are doing great. We're going to have a baby now. It's like, shut up, Ed. I hate Ed. It's got 6 days he's doing better than me. I don't want to hear it. I say, yeah, I told to pick you up, take you to the meeting, and I'm doing that. If you want to ride back to where I picked you up, or home or anywhere else after the meeting, I'll be glad to give it to you. Between now and then, shut up, Ed. And that'd just, okay, Ed's doing that pink cloud thing and grooving, you know what I mean? I never got a pink cloud, you know what I mean? I never got one. So I'd take him to the meeting, and I'd be standing in the back of the meeting, right? 2 years sober, caving in, losing it. I'm caving in. We're at this no good, you're never going to meet any good, it's just caving in, man. I couldn't get another step. That's it. I'm done. Can't move. And the speaker be up at the podium speaking, and Donald looked back and he would see me in the back doing that. And he got up. High Street. He gets up, he walks up to the podium, he interrupts the speaker. Speaker's flailing away up there. Interrupts the speaker steps aside, and Donald gets up to the microphone and he goes, Earl! And I'm in the back of the meeting, and I just, wow! And he goes, we're having a meeting. Right. Okay. I got it, okay. I'm back. And he would just tell the speaker, come on, and he would go sit down. And everybody in the whole meeting's going, who the hell is Earl? Because I don't talk to anybody, right? And he did stuff. He just loving me, keeping me in the game, man. He never let loose of me for 24 hours, man. It was just do this, go here, do that. Because he knew, man, we hesitate. This boy's just going to just unravel and go screaming off into the night and be dead soon. So he just stayed on my ass, man. I remember I had a cleanup commitment at Ohio Street. My commitment started at 10:15. I showed up one day at 6:20, scared to death. Because I was so scared that day, I couldn't be alone. But I was scared to go to the meeting at 6:20 because my commitment doesn't start till 6:15. And some guy's going to say to me, "What's the matter with you, you loser? We need 6:20. Your commitment, and I'm going to have to hit him, and it's going to go bad." Right? And I'm so ashamed that I have nowhere to go, nobody to talk to. I got to be in this meeting. So I go to the meeting at 6:22, and I walk in the door. Donald sees me. What does Donald do? Donald runs up to the microphone and says, "Earl, it's 6:22. You're late." Let everybody in that meeting know I was supposed to be there because he said so. That's why I was at the meeting. Because he knew, and he just. Come on, man, you're safe. Come on in. Make it safe. Just make it safe. And he did that for me. I have a higher power in my life that I have a tremendous relationship with. My higher power came to me through Donald Madden. I understand how the program of Alcoholics Anonymous works, and that before there was a book, before there was anything, there was one alcoholic down in the dirt sharing his experience, strength, and hope with another alcoholic so that they could rise up out of a seemingly hopeless state of mind and body, because that's what Donald Madden brought to me. He was one of the finest examples. He was one of the finest examples of Alcoholics Anonymous I ever met in my life. He died July 25th, 1994, broke my heart. Got up, got dressed, did his morning meditation, and left. Just like that. And my friend Christopher called me up and said, "Hightower, you got to get into the sponsor. Donald died this morning." And I completely unraveled, man. I was almost 14 years sober at the time. And I drove, me and Christopher sat there, and with a couple other guys waiting for him to come get Donald. And I just said, "I don't know what I'm going to do." And he just said, "Yeah, you do." And he was right. I knew what to do. Because Donald Mann had been my sponsor every day for almost 14 years. I was with him longer than I was with my family. Right? And I heard him in my head. He said, "Get a sponsor, you little son of a bitch, right now." So I called up Al. Al loved and respected Donald. Donald loved and respected Al. It was one of the guys Donald said, "Watch that man. That's a good man. That's a kind man." And that's the highest compliment I can pay anybody, Earl, is that is a kind man. He's not kind when it's convenient. He's kind because that's his commitment to the way he lives his life. He's a very strong man, very courageous man. And you know what? He is. I called him up and I said, "Al, Donald's dead. Will you sponsor me?" And he said, "Sure I will, kid." And he's been my sponsor ever since. So I didn't have a sponsor for about 3 hours. Because Donald Madden was my sponsor, and Donald Madden raised me from a pup. And it's, and I love coming to places like this and telling them about guys like Donald Madden. Bigger than life guys like Donald Madden who had a passion for living and a passion for Alcoholics Anonymous, and they gave it away all the time. And I was so sad that Donald Madden was dead until I realized one day Donald Madden's not dead. As long as I'm alive, Donald Madden's alive. As long as my boys are alive, and I sponsor a lot of guys, man. A lot of guys. My boys all know their line, man. They know that they come from Earl Hightower, who comes from Donald Madden, who comes from Norm Alfie, who comes from Chuck C, who comes from Bill. You know what I mean? Those are my boys, you know what I mean? That's my line. Those are the guys that I come from. And we don't pass around any of this watered down bullshit. You know what I mean? It's straight out of the book. You know what I mean? Straight out of the book. You want to know how to stay sober? Get a book. And that's what we do. And when I knew it was true is I gave a kid, Jeff, I sponsored. He took a keg for 11 years. And we're sitting there and I give him the cake and he says, I want to thank my sponsor, Earl, for all the help he's given me, and I want to thank the late, great Donald Madden. And I didn't know he was going to say that, you know what I mean? And when I heard him say that, I just started crying. I just thought, he's alive. He's alive, and he's always going to be alive, man, because it's all part of the tribe. And we've got a written way to move, you know what I mean? We have a path laid out for us in black and white. But we have a verbal history that we share, you know what I mean? We get together around campfires every night of the week in thousands and thousands and thousands of places. And we share our experience, strength, and hope. And we tell the truth about who we are and how we live. And new people come in and they get a hold of the hope that they can get from that, and they use our strength, right? And they use the clarity that we've gotten as a result of being in this book, and we pass them into the book, and we move along, and we have a verbal history of who we are, and we have some tapes now, you know what I mean, where you can listen to where we all come from. And every once in a while, a lot of the little tribes get together, and they have a big deal like this, you know what I mean? We come together from all over the place, and we get together and find out, yeah, they're doing it the same in Washington as they're doing it in Oregon, as they're doing it in California, as they're doing it in Australia and Europe and Washington and Canada. I mean, it's all the same, man. It's the same path, man. Common problem, common solution. That we're all in this boat together. And I didn't know any of that until I got a hold of a guy like Donald Madden, who was willing to come into meetings of Alcoholics Anonymous and wait for that crazy boy to come walking through that door and snag him and give it away for fun and for free. And all he ever asked of me is that I do the same thing. And I've been doing it, man, every day. All three sides of the triangle every day. The unity, the service, and the recovery. I do it every day. The unity is the body. I bring it here. I can't get sober, but we can. Recovery's of the mind, the greater aspect of my disease. I have to pay attention to that. Because if that ain't true, I say we drink Fridays. Fridays are good for me. Because that continuous sobriety thing, it ain't about it. It's one day at a time, but how you have the process of your life and the process of your recovery grow together is if you string those one days together at a time. I mean, Bill Wilson said, the idea is to die sober. That is the idea. How we do that is one day at a time. Right? So, I mean, if it wasn't true, detox centers would be kicking out winners, man. 72 hours and free. Thanks for coming by for the weekend, Earl. Have a nice life. I'm kicked. I'm cool. But I got an obsession of the mind that tells me that I can drink like a normal man. The book tells me that the persistence of this illusion, this belief in a lie, is astonishing. That many of us pursue it to the gates of insanity or death. I got a friend in L.A. calls me the gate guy. Because I was always going to the gates, I don't want to go to the gates anymore. I don't want to. I want to stay here with you. That's what I want to do. More than anything else in the world, what I want to do is remain a member in good standing of Alcoholics Anonymous. That's number one in my life. I'm all for money, property, and prestige. It just can't come first. It can't come first. I got to have a spiritual way of life. So if I'm going to get over this obsession of the mind, what do? Guess what? Yeah, there it is. The book. Work the 12 steps as outlined in the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous. 12 and 12 is a great book. Tell me a lot about them. I want to know how to do them. I do the book. Do them out of the book. Right? That's what this lady down here says, yes. Right? And that's designed to bring about a spiritual awakening, restore me to sanity, relieve me of the obsession, address the mental aspect of my disease. Step one is, what's the problem? Lack of power is my dilemma. Powerless over alcohol. Whole life's unmanageable as a result of it. If that's my problem, what's my solution? Step two. That a power greater than myself could restore me to sanity, soundness of mind, relieve me of the obsession of drink and use. Okay, I know my problem, I know my solution. It says it's a program of action. Step three tells me I better make a decision to do something about it. So what I do is I turn my will and my life over to the care of God, say the third step prayer down on my knees, I get up and I embark upon a plan of action. What's the plan? The plan is designed to deal with me, God, and you. Everything that I pushed away. 4 and 5 is me, 6 and 7 is God, and 8 and 9 is you. 4 and 5, I swallow large chunks of truth about myself, look at resentment, fear, and sex. Why those areas? Because if you want to see where we're all whack out, those are good places to look. You know, and there's a 4th column on those, and I gotta look at me, right? Having done that, at 6 and 7, I hook it back up with God. I ask God to remove my defects of character, because I'll remove the wrong stuff. Oh, I'll cut deals there. You know I will. You could have this one. I'm enjoying this one for right now. We'll talk next week, maybe we'll swap. I don't know yet. I'm not going to do it. So I ask God to do it. 8 and 9, I hook it back up with you. I go out, I'm very, very sorry, here's your money, I go back in the house. I don't get into it. I clean my side of the street, right? I pay my debts. You don't want your money. You don't. See, that's the funny thing is that people don't want my money, they want their money. They want me to give them their money. I figure that's fair, you know? So I did that. It took me 9 years to make my amends, but I made them all. And weird stuff started happening. They told me I'd be amazed before I was halfway through step 5, and they were right. They told me that the promises were right after step 9. They were right. And my friends kept saying to me, man, you are different. And I was just in here being me. You know what I mean? I didn't know. I couldn't see because I'm just in here being Earl, trying to do the next thing because all I want to do is stay sober. I don't want to die like a dog. 10, 11, and 12 keep me in the game. 10, same 3 things. 10's me, 11's God, and 12 is you. Nobody else to play with. 10, I keep my side of the street clean because I'm a work in process. I'm going to need that step 10. Because I'm going to screw up. I'm going to tell a lie. Right? I'm going to misrepresent myself. Right? I'll lie by omission. Something you have a right to know, maybe I won't, you know. And then I got to clean it up right now. Right now, clean it up. I do that. 11, I seek God. I seek God through prayer and meditation. What do I pray for? Knowledge of His will for me and the power to carry that out. Period. That's enough. That covers it. I don't need to be making any deals. Just nice and simple, do it. I remember when I was 2 and a half at the back of the podium at Ohio Street, there was like a 3 by 5 foot painting of the Serenity Prayer. I've been sober 2 years and I spotted it. I've been going there like 3 nights a week for 2 years. I called up Donald. I said, Donald, I found a great prayer. He goes, what is it? I said, it's the Serenity Prayer. It's the shortest one I could find. He says, no. Too much going on in there, you'll screw it all up. I said, Donald, it's the shortest prayer I can find. What do you want me to do? He says, I'll give you prayers. When you get up in the morning, your feet at the ground, I want you to look up and I want you to say, whatever. The guy out there knows it. All right. And when you get in bed at night, you get in the bed, you pull your covers up and you say, enough. That's it. Those are your prayers. So that's what I did. And I would do whatever. And I would go out in the day. It's like whatever you want me to do. And I would go do it. At the end I said, no, I'm going to go to sleep now. I'm going to sleep. Those are my prayers. It's perfect. Is it perfect for me? You know, because I would got it wrong. You know, courage to change to wisdom. I don't know. You know. And I'm back on the phone to him. I'm stuck. I can't get out of this phone booth, man. So I just kept going, and I did the 12 steps, right? The unity was the body, I brought it here. The cover is the mind, I worked the 12 steps. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of that, having been restored to sanity, having had the obsession of use removed, and it has been, I could service. I could practice these principles. I could be of service to other people. I could start conversations with, how can I help? Just to frame me up. How can I help? Not because I'm a good guy. Whether I'm a good guy or not is irrelevant, but because I want to stay sober. My primary purpose is to stay sober and carry the message. But I got to stay sober. I can't give away something I don't have, right? And I don't want to be giving them any slick LA West Side cool crap, man. I want to give them the stuff that the real guys put together, man. These are the big dogs in here, man. These guys, original 100, they got sober when it wasn't hip, wasn't fashionable, wasn't everybody walking around going, hey, I'm an alcoholic, I'm sober, isn't that great? You know? These guys were the pariah of society, man. They were looked down upon. This is not a cool thing to be doing or admitting. Their anonymity was vital to their lives, and unfortunately, I think I live in a time where anonymity is not stressed that much because I think that the spiritual nature of anonymity is profound, and I think there's tremendous gifts in staying sober. You know how I met my sponsor, Donald? It was a year and a half before I got sober, and there was this movie studio that wanted to do a movie about my life. They'll make a movie about anything. So I go to this meeting, and I'm still using like a All right? I mean, I'm up in the bathroom every 5 minutes in this meeting. I'm in the bathroom every 5 minutes, right? And the producer brought her set designer, who was this guy, Donald. And they're having a meeting. All of a sudden, this guy says to me, Earl, got something I need to tell you, buddy. I said, yeah, what's that? He said, Earl, I'm an alcoholic. Been sober several years in an organization called Alcoholics Anonymous. And if you don't start coming to AA, kid, you're going to die. And everybody's mouth dropped open. And you know why? Because he'd been working with them for 6.5 years, and nobody knew he was in AA. Nobody knew. He broke his anonymity that night to tell me that there was a program of recovery that I needed. And I thought that was very nice. A little dramatic, but it was nice. So 1.5 years later, I'm in AA, and I'm trying to find a sponsor, and I can't find a sponsor. And this woman says to me, have you ever heard of a guy named Donald Madden? And I got spooked. The one guy who mentioned AA to me way back when that I'd forgotten about, and this woman of all the names mentions this guy's name. I said, that's weird. I gotta go home. I went home, I go to my phone book, right? I open up to M, and there's one business card, paper clipped to my phone book, Donald Madden's card. I'm thinking, this is really getting weird. And I just said, I'll call it. I called it, and he answered the phone. Donald Madden! And that was when I asked him if I could come see him, and that's when I asked him to sponsor me, and that was it. I mean, I just God shots left and right for me. So I stayed all the way through. I'm being the service. I'm doing all the stuff that you're supposed to do, right? I mean, I get on planes and fly to things like this. Now, you got to understand, having heard my story, that I'm not thrilled about getting on planes. This is not my idea of a good time. I mean, it's the only thing in the world that makes my palms sweat. So I've had guys come at me with knives that didn't make my hands sweat. This makes my hands sweat to get on planes. But I get to realize all the time that I'm willing to go to any lengths. If I'm willing to get on a plane, I must love AA. Because that's the only thing that will get my ass on a plane. And the only other thing I got to say is that you got to remember what it's like to be new. You know, I mean, I've been sober now 17 years. I got a life beyond my wildest dreams. I'm having a lot of fun. I got a lot of passion in me. I got a lot of fire in me. I'm having a very good time in my life. And life's doing what life's doing. You know what I mean? But I'm showing up every day all lit up. I don't miss a thing. I don't miss a day. I want to paint, I paint. I want to play music, I play music. I want to go somewhere, I go there. I want to talk to somebody, I walk up to them and say, hi, I'm Earl, what's up? And I talk to them. They say, go away? I do. But if they say, well, you know, we talk. We have a nice time. I got friends. I got a sense of family. I got a sense of community. I got I got a great career. I have a wonderful, wonderful life. And everything that's of value in my life is a result of my being a member of Alcoholics Anonymous. Everything. Because how I address I got problems. Don't get me wrong, I got problems. I got the best problems I've ever had. I got problems in areas where I didn't even used to have areas. You know what I mean? But if you don't have problems, you ain't in the game. You know what I mean? You got to get out there and push it a little bit. Check it out. And, start off being bad at something before you get great at it. You know what I mean? And work it out. Get out there and move around in it. Having a great life. I got to remember now, great life, 17 years sober, flying around, meeting hundreds of thousands of people a year, doing all this stuff, right? I got to remember about the newcomer. I got to remember the new guy. I got to remember that the most amazing thing that will ever occur in Alcoholics Anonymous is somebody getting up and taking a 30-day chip. That's incredible. I mean, you guys have been giving me that if and when the time comes when I turn 18, I mean, you guys have given me the tools. You have shown me the way. I have followed your example time and time and time and time again. The odds of me getting to that 18-year cake, right? That's pretty good odds, barring a flood or a famine or some kind of thing, you know what I mean? I got a good shot at that. I do it one day at a time, but the days are coming to me pretty easily no matter what happens around me, right? That person that's working up on that 30 days, they got no tools for living. They don't know what's going on in here. They haven't had any time to, man. They're living in a state of grace. They're here because the disease chased their ass in here and they're scared to death to go back out. Great way to get here. So that state of grace is amazing up that 30-day chip. And I got to remember what you're like. Because I sponsor a guy named Nino. Go to pick up Nino. Nino got 90 days. I got like 10 years or so, right? We go to a meeting because Al's talking. Now I know Al will rip a pitch. I'm going to go here. It's pearls of wisdom, man. This is going to be spiritual stuff that anybody can grab a hold of. So I'm going to take little Nino. We're going to go. We sit in the meeting. And Al just ripping, man. I'm sitting there going, whoa, this is the greatest thing that's ever happened. Here I am, 10 years sober at the time, listening to Al, oh, this is great stuff. And here's Nino 90 Days, being exposed to all this amazing stuff. Well, I got to remember something. Nino is having a fundamentally different meeting than I am. He's not having the same meeting. I got to remember what I was like when I was new, driving over to Ohio Street. I got to think back and remember what that was like for me. I didn't go there and say hi to everybody because everybody there knew me and I had a seat and I got to sit and my guys that I sponsored were there and it was like my family and my friends and my life. Man. I was driving up to Ohio Street, driving up there. Okay, found it. Good. Park. Okay. They put the keys on the seat, find a seat. There's a guy with the red coat. Put your keys on the seat next to the guy with the red coat because you find the guy with the red coat, you find your keys, you find the seat. Good. They're ringing the bell, sit down, they're ringing the bell, ring. Good. Yeah, how you doing? I'm fine. All right, I'm gonna fine. All right, good. And they're reading this. Guys are reading something. Cheddar how works. Rarely seen something. Rarely saw something. I missed that part. I don't know what. Rarely saw something. He's reading 12 things. Okay, there's 12 things in Alcoholics Anonymous. Remember that. 12 things. A, B, C. There's an A. I missed that part too. I don't remember that. I'll hear that again. I have to get this book. All right, he's gone. I missed a lot of that. But there's 12 things. There's 12 things in Alcoholics Anonymous. 12 things in Alcoholics Anonymous. He sits down. Next guy. Wait a minute. And we just got started. Next thing, next the guy gets up, speaker, you drink. It's good. I drank, you drank. He's gone. That happened very fast. That first guy was very fast. He's down, he drank. Good. They're passing a basket. What's the money? Money in the basket. Don't take the money. Just let the basket go by. It's good. Okay, they're ringing a bell. Break. What are we doing? We're getting up, going outside, smoke. I smoke. How you doing? Fine. Gotta go back in. Where's the guy with the red coat? Where's the guy with the red coat? Find the guy with the red coat. Sit down. Keys. Listen. They're reading 12 things. These aren't the same 12 things as the other 12 things. These are another 12 things. There's 24 things on Alcoholics Anonymous. I gotta remember the 24 things. I can't remember that. All right, he's down. I'll get that later. Here's another guy. He drank. I did that. I felt like that. This guy knows how I feel. This is good. This is very, very good. He's talking about those 12 things again. Okay, I got a little bit of those 12. That's good. This is good. He's down. I love that guy. I got to talk to that guy. He's down. He's the guy again. And now, something. We're up. We're holding hands. Prayer. Another prayer. Say the prayer. Right. Good. Meeting's over. Go back to the car. And I'm walking out the car and some guy says, "What do you think of the meeting?" And I go, "Oh, it's great. It's a great meeting." So now I'm sitting with Nino, 90 days, listen to Al, I'm having a great meeting. And I walk out of the meeting and I say to Nino, and I know. And I look at him and I go, "How was the meeting, bro?" He goes, "It's great." And I gotta remember, he gets his turn. He gets to be nuts in AA. If you're new here and you feel like killing yourself or several of the people around you, perfect, man. Stay in here. I mean, I'm not lying to you. The story I told you is true. That's the nature of my life. Guys like me don't get to be happy, joyous, and free. Guys like me don't get to know peace, a new freedom, a new happiness. We don't get to do that stuff. We don't get to move around in the world. We don't get to feel like we have a family. We don't get to feel like we have good friends because we do. When I was new, Bob, who spoke this afternoon, got up at a podium at Ohio Street and shared his experience, strength, and hope. And what I heard was, guys like me get to stay here. They keep guys like me. And Bob gave me hope. I loved him from that day to this. We've been good friends a long time, and I absolutely love him. And I always will. And nothing can come between that. We're bound by something much stronger than blood. We're bound by a spiritual connection. I mean, the distance between you and me doesn't separate you from me anymore. It connects me to you. I'm bound to you. You are my people. You are mine. You are mine. And I love you. And you're thinking, I don't know who you are. The hell I don't. If you be in this room and you be an alcoholic of the hopeless variety, you will hope to die dope fiend. I know you. Just like you know me. And we ain't lying. This amazing thing has come to pass for people in these rooms, right? All these people sitting up here straight up, looking straight away at me right now. This is a room full of dead people sitting up looking at me. And you got a dead guy up here talking to you. And that's what Alcoholics Anonymous does. It really takes people out of a hopeless state of mind and body. And we rise up out of that, and we have absolutely remarkable lives. So if you're new, right, bring it on, man. Bring what you got. Bring it on. You angry, you frustrated, you frightened, you hostile, you homicidal, you suicidal, bring it on. You think we're all lying through our teeth? Come on, man. Come on in. Come on in and let us know. You share what you got, we'll share what we got. We'll see how it goes, you know. But I'll tell you what, no matter what you got, what you bring into the room, it's all welcome here. You're all welcome here. We just ask you don't disrupt the meeting. That's all. The group must survive or the individual will perish. We don't want that to happen to anybody. You bring it all in here, man, and find your own way. Who you're going to get introduced to in here is you. Just like who I got introduced to in here is me. And I love you to death, and I wish you peace. Bye.